Have you ever noticed something strange about the way your mind works when life gets hard? The moment something goes wrong, your brain doesn't just react to the problem, it starts attacking everything. Suddenly, you're not just dealing with one stressful situation. You're questioning your job, your future, your body, your decisions, even your worth as a person. One small problem turns into a spiral of negative thoughts, and before you even realize it, your brain has convinced you that your entire life is falling apart. But here's the truth most people never learn. Happiness is not something that happens after the pain disappears. Happiness is something you practice during the pain. Because if you only allow yourself to be happy when everything is perfect, you'll spend most of your life waiting. Life will never be perfect. There will always be stress, uncertainty, mistakes, disappointment, and unexpected problems. And if your happiness depends on everything going right, then your happiness will always be fragile. Most people don't realize that their brain has a natural negativity bias. Your brain is literally designed to look for what's wrong. Thousands of years ago, this helped humans survive. If your brain noticed danger faster, you stayed alive. But in modern life, that same survival mechanism can work against you. Your brain starts scanning for problems, even when there aren't any serious threats. And once it finds one negative thing, it begins collecting more evidence to support the story that your life is going wrong. You probably know someone like this. Maybe you even see this pattern in yourself. Some people can find the negative in absolutely everything. They could get good news and still find a reason to complain. It's not because they're bad people, it's because they've accidentally trained their brain to focus on the negative. But here's the powerful thing about the human brain. It can be trained. The same way your brain learned to see problems everywhere, it can also learn to see opportunity, growth, and meaning even in difficult situations. And the people who develop this ability are the ones who become emotionally resilient. Resilient people are not people who never experience pain. They are people who train their brain to respond to pain differently. When something difficult happens, their mind doesn't immediately collapse into panic and negativity. Instead, they pause, they breathe, and they ask a different question. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What can this teach me?" That one small shift changes everything, because the moment you ask a better question, your brain begins searching for a better answer. Now, I want to be very clear about something. This is not toxic positivity. I'm not telling you to pretend your problems don't exist. I'm not saying you should smile while everything in your life is burning down around you. Real resilience is not denial. It's awareness plus perspective. It means acknowledging that something is difficult while still believing that something valuable can come from it. And this idea is not just motivational talk. It's neuroscience. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on the thoughts you repeat most often. There is a principle in neuroscience called Hebb's law. It says neurons that fire together wire together. In simple terms, every time you think a thought, you strengthen the pathway in your brain that supports that thought. If you constantly think negative thoughts, you strengthen your brain's ability to find negativity. But if you intentionally practice gratitude, optimism, and reframing challenges, you strengthen your brain's ability to find positive meaning. Over time, this actually changes the physical structure of your brain. When you practice finding the good in situations, three powerful things begin to happen. First, your prefrontal cortex becomes stronger. This is the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, self-control, and optimism. Second, your amygdala begins to calm down. The amygdala is the part of your brain responsible for fear and threat detection. When it is overactive, you feel anxious and overwhelmed. But when you train your brain to respond calmly to stress, the amygdala becomes less reactive. Third, your brain begins producing more dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter connected to motivation, reward, and feelings of progress. This means that the more you train your brain to see possibility instead of hopelessness, the more motivated and energized you begin to feel. Over time, something incredible happens. What once felt difficult begins to feel natural. Your brain starts automatically searching for solutions instead of problems. And this is where resilience is built. I know this personally because when I was younger, I was extremely negative. I believed life was unfair. I believed other people had better luck than I did. I believed things never worked out for me. And because I believed those things, my brain constantly collected evidence to prove those beliefs were true. But eventually I realized something important. My mindset was not protecting me, it was trapping me. And once I started intentionally training my brain to search for meaning, lessons, and opportunities, even in difficult moments, my entire experience of life began to change. Research supports this as well. A study from Indiana University found that people who regularly practiced gratitude showed increased activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain associated with learning and emotional regulation. Even more interesting, when researchers checked again months later, the positive brain changes were still present. Another researcher, Dr. Martin Seligman, often called the father of positive psychology, discovered that people who practiced optimistic reframing were more resilient after setbacks and experienced lower rates of depression.